Welcome to Buckingham Palace, the official home of the King of England and his family. Buckingham Palace isn't your average home. It's a critical hub for the monarchy and a significant target in terms of national security. It's an epic marvel with 775 rooms. Yep, you've heard that right. It's like a small city all under one roof, with everything from grand staterooms for official business to cozy private quarters. And given its importance, it's also one of the most closely guarded buildings in the world, with advanced security measures in place to protect against any potential threats. But what lies beneath this majestic building? What secrets is the government concealing underneath this historic palace? Let's delve into the fascinating history of Buckingham Palace and uncover the secrets of this royal abode. The site of Buckingham Palace has a rich history that dates back to the early 17th century, during the reign of James I. Originally, the area was designated for a plantation of mulberry trees, intended to support the rearing of silkworms, a venture aimed at establishing a British silk industry. However, this ambitious project did not come to fruition as planned. In 1628, the gardens were granted to Lord Aston by Charles I, and historical records indicate that a sizable house already existed on the grounds. Well, over the years, the property changed hands multiple times, with various owners and tenants calling it home. By the end of the 17th century, the house had become somewhat antiquated, and in 1698, it was leased to John Sheffield, who later became the Duke of Buckingham. Dissatisfied with the old-fashioned house, the Duke of Buckingham decided to demolish the existing structure and commission a new residence. The new Buckingham House, as it was called, was designed and built with the expertise of William Talman, the comptroller of the works to William III, and Captain William Windy, a retired soldier. The main structure was constructed by John Fitch under a contract valued at approximately £7,000. This new mansion, characterized by its elegance and modernity for the time, laid the foundation for what would eventually become Buckingham Palace. In 1761, Buckingham House underwent a significant transition when it was purchased by King George III. The king acquired the property to serve as a private residence for his wife, Queen Charlotte, and their children, providing them with a home that was conveniently close to St. James Palace. This new royal residence was affectionately known as the Queen's House. Despite this acquisition, St. James Palace remained the official seat of the court, with Buckingham House serving a more private role for the royal family. Between 1762 and 1776, Sir William Chambers was entrusted with the task of remodeling and modernizing Buckingham House. The renovations, costing £73,000, including the addition of sophisticated interiors designed by the renowned Robert Adam, with ceilings painted by Giovanni Battista Cipriani. These enhancements elevated the Queen's rooms on the principal floor to be among the most exquisite and stylish of the period. The most transformative phase in the history of Buckingham House occurred during the reign of George IV. Ascending to the throne in 1820, George IV had grand ambitions for the property and desired to see it transformed into a full-fledged palace. Over the last 5 years of his life, George IV commissioned extensive work to enlarge and enhance Buckingham House, transforming it into the imposing structure that we recognize today. The architect John Nash played a pivotal role in this transformation. Nash extended the central block and rebuilt the two wings to the east, creating a grand forecourt enclosed by the new wings. This new design included a triumphal arch at the center of the forecourt, celebrating Britain's recent naval and military victories and forming a ceremonial approach to the palace. The U-shaped building created by Nash marked the beginning of Buckingham House's evolution into Buckingham Palace, reflecting the grandeur and authority of the British monarchy. Buckingham Palace has its very own zip code. How crazy is that? Yes, if you ever fancy writing a letter to the king, or maybe sending him a cute gift or tea, just use SW1A1AA. Just don't address it to Liz or Chucky. Now let's embark on our virtual tour of this massive palace. Buckingham Palace is colossal, with a staggering 775 rooms. Now this includes over 200 bedrooms, 92 offices, and hold your breath, 78 bathrooms. That's right, no waiting in line here, even if there's a royal function with hundreds of guests. Imagine the cleaning staff required to maintain all those rooms. It's no wonder the palace employs a small army of cleaners. I often wonder how the residents manage not to get lost. Is there a secret map, or perhaps some form of GPS? Imagine if there were a secret code for a Google Maps Palace edition. Let's move on to the east front of the building, the first site that greets visitors. This part houses the Queen's private apartments and forms the central block of the palace. If you ever take a tour, this is the area you'll explore. Walking through any of the archways here leads you to the central courtyard, known as a quadrangle. This area is a hive of activity, with cars and carriages constantly moving in and out. Or the network is so bad, you had to use an ATM. Well, if you live in the palace, that's not a problem. You have your very own ATM at home. No more late-night trips to the bank. While most of us head to a bank or ATM for cash, the royal family has their very own ATM right in the basement of Buckingham Palace. How convenient is that? It's these quirky little details that make the palace even more fascinating. Now, before electricity, cleaning the palace's massive chandeliers was a daunting task. Staff had to balance precariously on ladders to reach them. Well, thankfully, technology has since come to the rescue. Now, with the simple press of a remote control, these grand chandeliers can be lowered to a manageable height for cleaning. It's small innovations like this that makes maintaining such a historic building just a little bit easier. Buckingham Palace might be old, but did you know that the fossils holding its walls together are even older? The palace's walls are made from oolitic limestone, a sedimentary rock composed of tiny spherical grains of calcite. Now, these fossils are over 200 million years old. The same material was used in the construction of other iconic landmarks like the Empire State Building and the Pentagon. Next time you look at the palace, remember, you're also looking at a piece of ancient history. Here's another secret for you. A river flows under the south wing of the palace. The River Tyburn runs beneath Buckingham Palace, hinting at its unique foundation on swampland. This doesn't mean the palace is floating, but it certainly adds a layer of mystery and intrigue to the building. Imagine the whispers of ancient waters flowing beneath as you walk through the grand halls. The first monarch to make Buckingham Palace their official residence was Queen Victoria, following her coronation in 1837. Just 8 years later, she was already complaining about the lack of space. The palace wasn't large enough to accommodate her needs for both living and entertaining. This led to the creation of a new wing, enclosing Nash's forecourt on the eastern side. The proceeds from selling the Brighton Pavilion funded these expansions. The most notable feature of this redesign was the central balcony, suggested by Prince Albert. This very balcony became a significant spot where Queen Victoria witnessed her troops depart for the Crimean War and welcomed them back upon their return. Well, kind of. In 1953, the palace garden saw its first helicopter landing, marking the start of an unofficial helicopter landing area. For years, this spot served the royal family without any special construction. However, by 2000, they decided enough was enough. The lawn needed saving. An official helipad was finally built, designed with a layer of matting under the grass to preserve the aesthetics. A concrete helipad would have been too much of an eyesore for the pristine palace grounds. Let's explore the ins and outs of one of the world's most iconic residences. All right, let's kick things off from the ground floor. Now in England, we call it the ground floor, while in the United States, you might know it as the first floor. So just to keep things clear, I'll stick with the English terms as we walk through each part of this magnificent building. First up, we have the grand entrance. Imagine walking through these doors. It's like stepping into a whole new world of elegance and grandeur. The design here is meant to wow you right from the start. You're greeted by the Marble Hall, a space that screams opulence with its gleaming marble floors and stately columns. As you make your way through, you come across the bow room. This is where guests pass to get to the garden parties. Picture it, elegantly dressed people mingling, sipping on fine teas, and basking in the lush surroundings. Quite a scene, isn't it? Next, let's head toward the grand staircase. This is no ordinary staircase. It is a statement. Think of it as a palace's way of saying, "Welcome to the upper echelons of royalty." The staircase itself is an architectural marvel, sweeping upwards in a grand curve, with intricate details that make you feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. Climbing up to the first floor, we enter the green drawing room. Now, this room is truly a sight to behold. Imagine walls and furniture in varying shades of green, creating a serene and sophisticated ambiance. This room serves as a waiting area before you enter the throne room. Speaking of which, check out the two thrones here. The Queen sits on the left, and the Duke sits on the right. Quite the power couple, wouldn't you agree? Moving along, we stroll through the picture gallery. This hallway is like walking through an art museum, with priceless and antique artworks adorning the walls. Each piece tells a story, adding to the rich tapestry of history that Buckingham Palace embodies. Then we arrive at the White Drawing Room, which is used for more intimate gatherings. There's a fun little secret here. The Queen can enter this room through a hidden door in the wall, cleverly disguised as a mirror. It's like something straight out of a spy movie. Now let's check out the music room. As you might guess, this room houses a grand piano, perfect for impromptu concerts and musical soirees. Adjacent to it is the Blue Drawing Room, a space that exudes calm and sophistication with its rich blue decor. The State Dining Room is next, a place where grand banquets are held. Imagine dining with royalty under glittering chandeliers, with the finest china and silverware. It's like stepping into a scene from a historical drama. The east and west galleries flank this room, providing a path to the ballroom. Ah, the ballroom. This is where the magic happens. Grand balls, state dinners, and elegant parties. Picture the room filled with nearly 200 guests, all dressed to the nines, dancing and dining in a spectacular setting. Adjacent to this is the ball supper room, used for smaller, more intimate gatherings. Below all these grand rooms lies the large kitchen, bustling with activity to ensure the finest food is served to the royal guests. Now let's talk about the Queen's private apartments. This is the more personal side of Buckingham Palace, where the public doesn't get to venture. On the first floor, you'll find the Queen's study. Imagine a room filled with books, important documents, and a sense of regal calm. This area is strictly off-limits for public tours, ensuring the royal family has their privacy. Surrounding the Queen's study are the living quarters for the royal family members. Each room is likely a blend of comfort and luxury, providing a cozy retreat from the public eye. Shifting our focus to the front of the palace, this is the view most people are familiar with. When the royal family makes public appearances, such as after a royal wedding, they do so from the balcony on the first floor, known as the center room. Imagine the excitement of the crowd as they catch a glimpse of the royals waving and smiling. It's a moment filled with tradition and pageantry. While the public sees the grand facade, there's so much more behind these walls. For instance, there's the Chinese luncheon room, a beautifully decorated space that likely features intricate designs and exotic themes. Then there's the Yellow Drawing Room, a vibrant and sunny space that's perfect for more casual gatherings. Did you know that Buckingham Palace has its own post office, swimming pool, movie theater, and even a doctor's office? Imagine having all these amenities right at your fingertips. The doctor's office is particularly interesting. It's fully equipped for surgical procedures, ensuring that in case of an emergency, the royal family can receive top-notch medical care without leaving the palace grounds. Now let's delve into one of the more intriguing aspects of Buckingham Palace, the labyrinth of secret tunnels. Some say there's a tunnel connecting the palace to the London Tube, but that's just a rumor. However, there is a network of passageways that connects Buckingham Palace to Clarence House and the Houses of Parliament. These tunnels serve a crucial security purpose, allowing the royals to move discreetly and safely between locations. One of the coolest features in the palace is the hidden doors. For example, there's a door disguised as a mirror in the White Drawing Room that leads to the Queen's private apartments. Imagine seeing a mirror swing open to reveal a hidden passage. It's like a scene from a mystery novel. These doors are designed to blend seamlessly into the surroundings, making them difficult to spot unless you know where to look. Throughout history, secret doors have been a standard security feature in high-end residences, and Buckingham Palace is certainly no exception. Even though some of these doors are known, many more likely remain hidden, ensuring the safety and privacy of the royal family. First up, let's talk about the garden. Picture this. If you lined up 2,000 double-decker buses, you'd cover the same area as the palace garden. That's right. The garden stretches over 39 acres. Imagine Buckingham Palace as the royal suite overlooking this massive green space. The garden is divided into three main sections. There's Harrison's, featuring a sprawling lawn as big as a dozen city parks combined. Then there's a rose garden, home to the famous 15-foot Waterloo vase. Picture 25 varieties of England's national flower blooming in a riot of colors. It's absolutely breathtaking. And finally, there's the yard. This area is a bit more relaxed, less manicured, and gives off a charming, natural vibe. Now, we all know the royals have jam-packed schedules. From state dinners to charity events, they've got a lot going on. That's probably why Buckingham Palace is home to over 350 clocks. Imagine walking into a room and seeing more clocks than books in a library. There's even a dedicated clockmaster whose sole job is to wind up all of these clocks every week. Yes, every single week. Can you imagine missing a clock and the king being late for an important event? Talk about pressure. So next time you hear someone say they're busy, just remember the clockmaster at Buckingham Palace and think, it could be worse. Ah, the iconic Queen's Guards. You know, the ones in those bright red uniforms and tall furry black hats. They stand at attention around the palace, keeping everything safe and secure. And let's debunk a myth. Despite what some people think, these guards are certainly not just for show. They're highly trained soldiers ready to act if needed. Their job might seem straightforward, stand still and guard, but it's far from easy. They deal with weather changes, curious tourists, and sometimes even the odd prankster. But here's a tip. It's best not to pester them. These guards mean business, and they're here to protect, not to be entertainment. There are videos of their horses biting people, so please be careful. They're not friendly. Buckingham Palace is a marvel of architecture, a treasure trove of history, and a symbol of royal heritage. Its secrets, both above and below ground, continue to captivate and intrigue us. As we delve deeper into its past and uncover the mysteries beneath, we gain a greater appreciation for this iconic landmark and its significance in the tapestry of British history. So the next time you think of Buckingham Palace, remember that it's not just what you see on the surface. There's a whole world beneath it, waiting to be explored and discovered. Now, just for fun, do you think this palace might be home to any aliens sheltering there? Or perhaps they have a hidden chamber where an elite group battles evil every night? Perhaps there's a secret door at Buckingham Palace that leads to the royal family's private quarters. If there is, where is it located, and how is its existence known? Sorry, I can't tell you. It's a secret. But please share your thoughts in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.